Hey everyone, this is Mark Gamer Dude here, and in today's video, I have the members of Adrenaline Dove. Say hi, guys.
Howdy.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Cool. Okay, so I invited the members of Adrenaline Dove to interview them about their channel, stuff, and also answer the questions that I have and the questions that you guys sent in. So, ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
ready
it.
as well.
All right, okay, so this one basically just the obvious one. So, when did you guys start to decide to dub the Sonic comics? Like, how did it start, and who came up with the name Adrenaline Dubs? Were they even called Adrenaline Dubs in the beginning?
As long as the channel has existed, yes, we've been called Adrenaline Dubs because we didn't really make the channel before we had the name. We started the idea way back in, I want to say, like, very, very early 2018, maybe even late 2017 or so. The IDW comics were on the horizon, and in a very unrelated interaction, a few of us, namely Ryan, Trev, me, I think Dylan may have been there, and a couple
I
others.
wasn't there.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't think you were there then. A couple others who didn't move on to Adrenaline Dubs with us. We just started, like, just for fun, because we were all, like, we were decent voice actors that wanted to sort of improve our skills. We were just sort of reading together the reboot Archie run and just doing different character voices. We didn't have a whole lot of people for the massive amount of characters, so we just took on all sorts of different roles within our reading session, just so that, like, we could expand our ranges and kind of represent these characters in our own ways when applicable. And then from there, since the IDW comics were coming up, we thought, oh wow, well, those IDW comics are coming up, and we're kind of good at what we're doing here, so we could probably turn them into legitimate comic dubs, like just produce them and stuff. Combined with my editing experience from, the YouTube poop days and stuff, and everybody else having, like, audio and obviously voice acting experience, it was kind of all a match made in heaven. Trev came up with the name Adrenaline Dubs, because obviously we needed a name, and he just real quick came up with Adrenaline Dubs, and we were like, that sounds pretty good, let's use that.
Yeah, it fits very well. Like, but did you guys even expect it, your dubs to be like extremely popular? Because everyone, even other famous dubbers themselves, they all know how great your dubs are. Do you expect it to pop up so big?
I can't speak for everyone else, but I initially had no idea the growth that we would get. I expected maybe, okay, this is something that, like, will be a lot of fun, but maybe only, like, 500 people, maybe even just, like, 1,000, 2,000 people will pay attention to it. My personal channel at the time, I think, only had, like, 7,000 subscribers. I wasn't making videos all that frequently, but my content was overall kind of niche anyway. So I figured the same would kind of apply to Adrenaline Dubs, because I didn't really know how popular comic dubs were at the time. Didn't really pay close attention to it. I definitely didn't expect the massive growth we've seen now. I can't speak for the other guys, though, like Ryan or Dylan. They might have had different expectations.
Would you like me to hop in on this as well, then?
Yeah, sure.
It's because, like, I really wasn't expecting them to get all that big either myself, because at the start, growth was pretty slow. We had only reached about 1,000, I'd say, about 1 or 2 years in regarding subscribers. And then, like, the algorithm changed to favor us, and we had no idea that YouTube basically lifted us up from underneath a rock, and we ended up growing exponentially. We jumped from 10,000 to, like, 50,000 in the span of a year. And now we're about, just about bordering on 70. I think we even are at 70k. So,
we're at 67 right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
very close.
It was ridiculous. And I know why. I know exactly why that started happening. And I didn't notice it at the time, but I know, looking back, why that happened. It's because we were pretty on the ball up until Battle for Angel Island. Sorry. Up until Battle for Angel Island, we were pretty on the ball and pretty frequent with uploading. And Battle for Angel Island took us like a year because of various production issues. But right after that, we were back on the ball. So, like, we were, besides that, like, big hiccup, we had, like, pretty stunning frequency with our video uploads, which was nice. Especially with, like, last year. Last year, I think we were surprisingly frequent then, and it did whole wonders for our channel growth as well.
Wow, man, you guys had like a big journey. That actually goes into the next question. You guys have been dubbing both Archie, IDW, and even one time comic strips for so long. Like, you know, what are the challenges that come with doing these comic dubs?
I can't really speak. This is another moment where I can't really speak for the other editors, especially Gerbil. But I will touch briefly on the Archie situation. So initially, the big problem with Archie reboot was the panels were laid out in such a more complex and just honestly more visually interesting way for in terms of comic book panels than you would expect from IDW. That's not to say that IDW doesn't get creative with the panels, but things are definitely a little simpler more often. The big roadblock with Archie that made it less fun at first was the amount of talking, but there was a lot of really interesting uses of panels. Gerbil caught on to that, and so instead of doing the more revealing panels on a singular page type approach that we've been doing for IDW, which was simpler for that particular format, he decided to cut out the panels individually. That takes more time, and now we have more of a team assigned to Archie that helps with that. And as Archie's grown a little more ambitious, we've had some of those artists even go in and make different expressions, do blinking and stuff, you know, just sort of stuff like that. IDW has always been a little more simple, in my opinion, and I've just been kind of raising the bar with visual effects and other stuff like that to keep it interesting and fresh. Anyway, I'm going to let the others answer their portions of this question because I'm getting bothered.
Hot and bothered.
Yeah, I will say I've only worked on the IDW comics, not Archie. I can't. Archie seems a lot more complicated than IDW, definitely. But one of the challenges, like working on these comic dubs, is the fact that like we're all doing this for fun, and there's no like schedule or whatever. So like sometimes we're like missing a line from someone. We're like, hey, can you do this line? They're like, sure, but can I give it to you in 2 weeks? It's like, okay. And sometimes that like halts production. That's like one of my pet peeves working on this comic dubs. It's like, I want to work on it, but I don't have the lines, or like I don't have something else or whatever.
We've all been there, honestly. We've all been there. It happens. We don't know what everyone else is going on with their personal lives. We get it.
Yeah.
Work on it, but then something get in the way.
Sometimes your friendly neighborhood composer is wrapped up in things and forgets completely about issue 30 for a month.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
more than a month, I would say.
Okay, yeah, I definitely get it. What about the rest of you guys? What are your challenges today?
I'd say my challenge really is just like, I sort of floundered with issue 30, and I have gone on record saying this on like the written word, but not on the spoken word, because I was expecting a lot of others to like pick up the slack for me, and I kind of forgot that I kind of have to like lay out a groundwork for myself and for everybody else to like layer on top of me when it comes to doing this sound work. So Gerbil pointed out to me that I was kind of floundering. So I gotta remember to like do it properly next time. Not to say that I have a risk of like losing a space or anything on like creating this sort of stuff, but I know I could do a lot better. So it's mostly on me. But Ryan more or less said the other stuff I would have brought up as well. It's just a bit of a hassle trying to get everyone together in one place at one time to get all of this stuff finalized when it comes down to like issue processing and so on.
Well, I don't know if I have as much to say compared to the rest of the guys here, because out of the like 5 that are here, I'm like the most recent of the admins. Like, I always keep forgetting like at what point they brought me on board. Like, I know they brought me on board to voice some of the Zeddy, and then from there I just kind of like evolved into becoming part of the sound mixing team, you know, helping with the sounds and whatnot. Then I started doing on some of the mini dubs that they've put up now and then. And as of the moment, I'm helping on one of the miniseries for IDW. Like at the time of recording this, I'm about halfway through editing them. I still need to get started on mixing for the last 2 issues. I'm just waiting on some actors to send me their lines for that.
Okay, I get it. So, sounds like you all have your own personal thing for this. Well, that actually comes into like the next question about like this. Do you have any advice for any content creators who want to do their own dubs, voiceover, or also editing? Like anything you want to give them a heads up about before they jump into it?
Just do it. Practice.
Pretty much.
It's about the
It's like
You don't
you're
need a
good.
completely insane crew to make like a pretty solid comic dub. You just need to familiarize yourself with whatever video editing tool you're using, and that's pretty much all you need to know, honestly.
It's like, yeah, you're gonna make mistakes, but like you only learn from your mistakes, and that's okay.
Right, and
So
that
it's just a hot tip. You know, if you want to ever just like do something, here's the key to doing it. Start doing it.
right,
seriously.
and don't be afraid to take feedback if you think it'll help.
Yeah, don't be
The
afraid
o-
to take in feedback. Don't be afraid to ask others for help too.
Mhm.
I
Right.
noticed like the easiest thing with adrenaline dubs now has just become just coming up and asking people if they can lend a hand with something, or like providing a voice or providing art. Because at first, you know, if you start off with like your own crew, if you have one, or if you just ask a few people to help out with some small scale thing, then you'll kind of be able to make a name for yourself and your crew. And then it'll get a lot easier to just ask other people for help. I remember I could never have dreamed of getting Wolfblade for this project, because I didn't know much about him, but I knew that he was Xylo and Team Mom. And one time he joined, I think, our public server, and he asked if he could lend some additional voices. So we kept him on the crew for a bit for additional voices, but those additional voices never popped up, and we already had somebody for Starline at the time. And later on, he dropped out because he wasn't doing anything, which is totally understandable. And then our Starline got wrapped up in, I think it was boot camp stuff, and he couldn't dedicate to online voice acting as often. So he had to take leave, and we needed to bring in Wolfblade, because I really liked his voice, and I figured that he'd do a voice that was close to what the other guy was doing, and be able to do it consistently. And then the other guy heard that Starline, and he was like, "Oh yeah, just get this dude, because get this Wolfblade guy, because he's really good."
Yeah,
A
he
long time
is
ago, I
like
would have never fathomed getting Wolfblade, and now we were just able to like ask him to help, and he was able to help. Same with folks like Corey Wilder for Gmerl, various artists that have come on the crew and helped out. You'll just learn that it never hurts to just go up and ask somebody. The worst you'll get is like a no, so don't be scared. And you know, sometimes you get the unexpected yes that like really increases your morale and motivation.
Yeah, definitely see that. I always get people asking me all the time, like, how can you do this? I want to do my own thing over and over and over. And I tell them the same basic thing. Do it. Don't be afraid. And just be brave. You'll put through it.
Yeah, as long as like, if you're a project leader, just another bit of advice I can give you is try not to be an idea guy. Try not to be the guy who just like has ideas. Be more of a director. You know, play your part in every department. Like dabble a little bit in every department to at least understand the limitations and how you pull off certain things. You know, you can mainline like one or two parts of the creative process. Like I mainline the sound for certain things, the voice filters, and obviously the video editing. for the most part. Like that's kind of my department as a whole, as well as certain motion graphic stuff. But like general like audio visual stuff that isn't the whole package but plays a decent part in the whole package, that's kind of my department. So get into a flow like that where you're pretty good at specific things, but you're able to defer to the crew for other stuff, and also you're able to make demands and pitch ideas that aren't unreasonable and that people want to work on for this project, this theoretical project. Don't be an idea guy, just be a director. Familiarize yourself with things. You don't have to, you don't have to have literally every skill. I mean, you can if you want. You can be a jack of all trades, but you don't have to be. As long as you have like a level of understanding to where like people will take you seriously and you're giving them like requests that are feasible, then you can wrangle a crew pretty well. And that's and sometimes you don't even need a crew, honestly. If you just want to do all the video and sound stuff yourself and then have just voice actors do like the rest of the carry the rest of the work, then that works too. Early on in Adrenaline Dubs, more or less all we had was me doing video editing and a good chunk of the sound, Dylan doing some of the sound, and then everybody else was more or less just voice acting. Of course, now that's different because our ambitions have expanded, but don't hesitate to have a much smaller actual main crew if you have to. And that's all I gotta say.
This question is actually kind of directed toward Techno. How fun is it making all those remixes and even original themes for the dubs?
It is very fun. I will say it is it is very satisfying when I'm able to just kind of weave like well-known motifs and themes into like a score. Like the first one I did was the Echo Mines one that was that contained excerpt from the Sonic Advance 2 boss theme. It had that melody in there, but it was orchestrated in a very different way.
Yeah, that one's really
And
good.
I love it when I'm able to just have a different spin on a well-known theme, or just in any way sort of weave it or sneak it into what I'm scoring.
All of them are very good. I have like so many of them. Like the one that I keep playing on repeat is the I think that was the way I discovered you. It was a Sonic Advance 2 boss thing. I think that was one. That one I really enjoy listening when I'm in my car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like the beat of that music. You really do well with those. So many people are just like, wow. Like, keep up the good work on Techno.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Now, this one it's going to be like a fun question. This for all of you guys. Like, okay, so what was your favorite storyline in the Archie comics? And if you want to throw in IDW as well, your favorite one from that too.
Well, I've been really personally liking all the Werehog stuff in Archie, because I personally record pretty far ahead. I've recorded most of Archie, and I've recorded pretty much every issue of IDW. Actually, I think I've recorded every single issue of IDW so far. Yeah, I recorded pretty ahead for Archie. I don't remember if I've done the entire run that we plan to do, but I've recorded for a good majority of it. And the Werehog stuff is fun. It's been fun to figure out that voice. The stories are really good in Reboot Archie. I feel like with IDW, it's interesting because there are some stories like the Metal Virus I didn't care too much for, and then I started actually like producing the dubs for it and like assembling everything. Like once everything started falling into place, I grew a newfound appreciation for it. With Reboot Archie, though, I felt just completely hyped reading it. Honestly, I don't know why IDW doesn't quite give me that same gratification sometimes, but I don't think they're by any means bad stories. I think maybe it might be nostalgia because I mean, even before the IDW comics were out, I was brushing up on Reboot Archie and during those sessions before Adrenaline Dubs existed. So maybe it's nostalgia. I also think the championship, whatever arc. I forget what it's called, but
I think it's just called
Championship-
Champions.
Yeah, Champions arc. That one's really good too.
Mm-hmm.
If I can pitch in here and say just, it is understandable because who can argue with nostalgia? It's the same reason I rely so much on the advanced scores so much in my music. And not even when I'm making the or remixing themes from it, but I'm using like the little arpeggio elements that are prominent in those games, things like that.
If I may pitch in about like what my favorite Archie storyline would have to be, honestly, what happens past the first Genesis wave, like specifically the whole thing to do with Mecha Sally, I thought that was really compelling. And then the end of that just kind of got ruined with like the second Super Genesis wave coming over, and then we got the whole Worlds Unite arc, which is still very good.
Well,
I would have loved to
okay,
see
do you
that
mean
end.
like when you say Worlds Unite, you're talking about the second
Yeah, the
Sonic Mega Man
second crossover
crossover?
version.
Okay.
Was it the second one?
Yeah, the
it
first
was.
one is called Worlds
I
Collide.
always
The
get
second one is
confused.
Worlds Unite.
Oh no, wait, I'm thinking of Collide. That's right. Collide's
Oh, yeah,
the
okay.
first one because before that was the Genesis storyline.
Yeah, and Worlds Collide is a fun one. I mean, like, if my own dub of it wasn't of any indication.
I will say it's been a long while since I've read the Archie comics, and even then I haven't really read it all that much. But when we did the reading before we started Adrenaline Dubs, I really did like the Champions arc and like just like the whole like werehog thing. I really liked what Archie brought with that werehog. It like brought something new and made the world more interesting. But with like IDW, like I think it's still trying to get its footing.
Well, I think a lot of sorry to interrupt, but I think the big problem with IDW, and I think some people have pointed this out, is that like it's kind of being forced to stuck in like the same mold as the games, because as a reminder, it takes place like immediately after Forces, and they kind of have to go off what's already established in the games instead of being a little bit more loose than what Archie has done with their history, sometimes for better or worse.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But like I'm still pretty happy with what they're able to produce with the IDW stories. I mean, even with like all these like restrictions and whatnot.
I think this Eggman City stuff has been pretty interesting. I unfortunately can't say that I've been all that captivated by it. I mean, I'm still gonna dub them. I'm still gonna do my best. Well, we're still gonna do our best, I guess I should say now. But yeah, I can't say I've been all that captivated by the recent stories. But the Eggman City stuff is actually pretty cool. At least as a concept, it's been pretty fun so far. It's also been fun to record for.
But yeah, as far as like favorite Archie storylines go, Champions is a good one. Aside from that, there's three particular ones that I actually think are really good. The first one is the last one that Sonic Universe did, the one involving the Chaotix and the Pirates. I think it was called like I forget what it's called, but that one was a really fun one. But then again, a lot of the Chaotix stuff from Archie is really fun. The second one is Eggman's Dozen, the one where Eggman recruits all of his egg bosses to like raid his base to take it back from the Naugus twins. That, I think, personifies probably one of my favorite aspects of Archie, the idea of like Eggman having like his own like army of like enhanced lieutenants that were Mobians, but are just kind of like for one reason or another coerced to join his side. I think that's actually a really interesting prospect, and all of the individual egg bosses I really love, and that is like one thing that I really do miss. And I think the closest that IDW's ever captured to something like that is maybe Mimic, but even then, I just think that the egg bosses, I think, are like the one thing I miss the most out of Archie that I really would like them to incorporate in some fashion back at the IDW.
Oh god, absolutely.
Yeah, I totally get it. Actually, but I'm not too familiar on the Archie. I barely remember like reading some of it like vividly. But even then, for like IDW, I only like got into the comics once Metal Virus started going around. It looked very interesting. That's why I got into it. I was aware of IDW, but I didn't get into it until until Metal Virus came around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so actually, speaking of IDW, here's the next question. This is actually a fun one. IDW is no stranger to doing crossovers. What's a comic series that you want Sonic to cross over with in comic form?
I don't really have a
Sonic
person
and TMNT.
Yeah, same here.
Called it. I called it. I called it. I called it. I called it.
Honestly, had they still had the license, I would have loved to have seen Transformers.
That would have been
Oh,
cool
yeah.
too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And I unironically want a Sonic and My Little Pony crossover
I was
too.
gonna say that'd be like
Hey,
the
yes,
perfect
me.
kind of like
Me.
curveball.
I feel like I get the reasoning behind that. I feel like that officially existing would snap the internet in half.
It
Yeah.
would.
It
would.
would,
That's how fun it
and
would
I
be. It
would
would be
enjoy the
great.
chaos.
I
I would
would
enjoy the
enjoy it.
chaos of all of it.
Yeah, Ian wrote the My Little Pony and Transformers crossover comics, so he has experience with that. So like, yes, do it. Why not? It'd be great. I want to see Rainbow Dash and Sonic go head-to-head racing. I want to see that. It'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, the My Little Pony fan of me is already going crazy over that. But yeah, TMNT and Sonic makes sense in comic form. I can see like SBO having fun there, Knuckles and Raphael butting heads, Donatello and Tails. I don't know who Mikey would interact with.
I've seen some people suggest that he would probably hit it off well with Amy.
Now I think about it, yeah, I could see a little bit of that.
Well, I guess it also depends on like if the crossover is allowed to have like IDW exclusive characters. Because if that's the case, then definitely Tangle.
Oh yeah, Tangle.
For sure.
Tangle with Mikey. That's perfect. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Okay. So this actually speaking of Sonic. Now we're moving off from the comics onto the games. Is there any kind of Sonic spin-off game that you wish they would make?
A point and click Knuckles Chaotix game in the style of Sam and Max.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I would very much like a spin-off title with anything to do with fighting in the style of Like a Dragon or Devil May Cry. That's just me, though.
I think this
Okay.
Silver is own game.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
I'd vibe.
Yeah.
I'd vibe.
Yes, I love that. Yes, I love that idea.
Do some crazy stuff with the physics engine.
Oh, you could.
Mhm.
Or maybe a game like focus on Blaze's world.
Yes,
That
I
too.
love
Just
Oh,
like
there you go. Actually, yeah.
don't have Sonic there. Just have Blaze.
Just
just-
Blaze's entire world.
Yes.
Yes, I totally would love that. What about Team Dark game?
Team Dark
Hmm.
getting their own game. That would be
Hmm.
very interesting.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah,
That
I guess I
would be
wonder how that
crazy.
would work. Did they do in the style of how how they did it in Sonic Adventure Battle 2, where Rouge had like treasure hunting and Shadow was that thing, and then Omega would have like a kind of like how Tails and Eggman's levels were, I guess.
Probably.
I see something like that working.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely working. Here's actually we're going back into the comments for this one because this is actually something that I was curious about, like my own stuff. Like, if you guys had your own Sonic OC, which storyline, and I don't mean IDW or Archie, it could be either one of them, would you like to see them in? Either as a cameo or actually part of the fight, yada yada, either or.
That's a tough one.
I know I have brainstormed some ideas of how I can incorporate my character into the universe, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, if I had to, like, tie him into, like, a specific storyline, I don't know what I would pick.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't really make OCs.
I have too many OCs where they're not really connected with the Sonic cast, honestly. They're just in
I
the
only have the
background.
one.
I
On
only
a-
have one too.
I have
but
I have two, but they both originated from different like stories that I'm developing.
yeah,
Like not related to Sonic, but they kind of like translated them into that universe somehow.
yeah, I was having trouble with this too. Like maybe like I know this probably bad, but like have my Sonic OC be like one of the infected in the metal virus, and then or maybe be one of the resistance army and then get infected. I don't know. I don't know. It's very hard to say like because since the storylines all had their own character focus, it's hard to say where they will be involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if anything, I think my OCs would just be in the background as like a cameo.
Yeah, unfortunately, unless they actually put the background characters at the forefront, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Okay.
I mean, Lanolin got hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to
that's
say.
true. That is true. That is true. That is true. Yes, that's true. Actually, speaking of the comics, if any of you had your chance to write a storyline for the comics, what would the story be like? Like, what would you like your own story? Like, what would you your own story in the IDW comics, or even Archie if you want to?
Oh.
What
The
would you be?
the chaotics solving a case. And it's
That would
just,
be nice.
It's just
The death of
ridiculous.
the Master
Yeah,
Emerald.
Whoa!
I did-
What?
Wait, what?
What?
The
Death
what
of
of the what?
Master Emerald.
Death of the Master
What?
Emerald.
I don't know exactly
So-
how I'd handle. Ian Flynn, I think, has expressed if he made a Sonic Adventure 3, that's what it would be about. So his ideas are probably a lot better than mine, but I think it would be a really fun thing to tackle for IDW personally.
I don't know, man.
Dang.
Death of the Master Emerald sounds compelling as is from a title.
Who murdered the Master Emerald?
As for me, I'd probably like to do something that just expands on Surge a lot more to bring her into her own character. Because like
I mean, that's-
some of the cancelled conceptual designs where she's wearing a coat, I'd like to make a storyline where she gets that coat and maybe like a giant bat or something. Because apparently she's supposed to be like the parallel Oni demon to whatever Sonic was. Because one was the god of wind, one was the god of lightning. So it kind of parallels like that.
I'd also absolutely love to work on anything particularly Blaze focused, like that Soul Dimension.
That too, yeah.
spinoff
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
We were talking about.
I know-
just like maybe like a mini series set in the Soul Dimension that focuses on Blaze, with like plenty of action too. Would be fun. Like
That'd be
'cause
slick.
in that annual story, all the pirates are gone. How did that happen? Well, it'd be fun to tell that.
Yeah, you're right.
We're
gonna
gonna
We
find
don't
out.
see Blaze a whole lot. Like, we don't really see the Soul Dimension a whole lot at all, honestly. So I think it'd be really fun to explore what exactly happens there. We only really get like flashes of things that occur, like that annual story, where we find out that the pirates are gone and Blaze can relax, but we don't actually see how that, what led to that point, which is kind of unfortunate. I think having a mini series focused around that would be fun.
For sure.
I know one story that I had in mind for like to take place in IDW. One that I've been kind of fleshing out here and there was this concept of like, what if, and just bear with me on this, like it's said after the events of like Zeddy Hunt, like what if we get to a point where the other Zeddy eventually just get kind of disillusioned from Zavok and his idiocy and just decide that they just want to get away from him and reform. And I had these like various ideas of like Master Zig, he would probably like, take up a garden and like do gardening stuff with cream and vanilla. And Zaz would learn to get anger management from, of all people, Big.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Zaz and Big interacting? Oh wow.
Like Big would teach him how to fish, and then Zaz is just too fidgety to stand still for too long to fish.
Oh wow.
Probably dives into the lake and just grabs the fish with his hands.
You probably would.
Oh, no.
Wow. Wow, I love these ideas, man. I know you, even if you guys aren't working for IDW, but if you ever like bring these things to light, show them, do them, I would love to see that. Okay, so this is actually the last question for the adrenaline, and then the rest will be all the fan related stuff. This one is something that will be like a big debate. Okay, best Sonic theme and worst Sonic stage.
Like the best theme for Sonic as a character, or like the best. Anything out there. I didn't specify any Sonic, any best Sonic theme music and the worst Sonic stage. God, that's hard. I really like City. I like anything that's like anything that's similar to City Escape or SA2's It Doesn't Matter, or oh god, what's that? I think it's the intro song from SA2, Let's Make It. Just anything that evokes that kind of like ska style. Metal Harbor's a good one too. Anything that evokes
I love
that
Metal
ska
Harbor.
style is just like what it's in my top 10. It shoots directly there. I wish Sonic's music style was more like that, because I feel like they've leaned a little too much into the like badass rock stuff with Frontiers, and it's nice. It's cool, but it's not a replacement, I feel. If you're gonna do any kind of rock, then Jun Sonoe's stuff is like top tier for Sonic, in my opinion. And you know, when he's not just in Supersonic 2, like when he's just himself, I think ska is the perfect genre to encompass everything that Sonic himself is. And worst stage is a very, very hard one to answer, because I feel like I dislike more stages across the series than I do like. And I don't want to just choose like a cheap one, like Sonic 1.
Just pick one from Forces.
I was about to say.
That's even cheaper.
Yeah, I was about to say, like that horse is already a puddle on the ground. Do you think people beat it up enough?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If Sonic 1 is like low-hanging fruit, then it's just already like on the floor.
It's buried into the sand
It's the hole at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah,
at the bottom of the sea.
Hole in the bottom of the sea.
Oh man. What about the rest of you guys? Any got a favorite theme?
I'm kind of in a similar boat because, like, you know, common opinion, I know, but Sonic has such a wonderful collection of, like, music spanning through the franchise. Like, not even just, like, level themes, character themes, all that. And they're all very distinct in how they are, that I don't know if I really have, like, a particular favorite. Like, I can pick games that have, like, my favorite soundtracks, but to pick a singular song from said soundtrack, I think might be a little hard for me. If I had to pick just soundtracks, though, I definitely like, let's see, Adventure 2, Unleashed, and Colors have good ones. One that I personally think is very underappreciated, I think Lost World has a very underrated soundtrack. I actually really like a lot of the combinations of songs in that soundtrack. Yeah, those are like the immediate ones that pop up in my head. Worst Sonic level, Arc from Shadow. That is, like, in my opinion, the complete antithesis for how you design a 3D Sonic level.
Mm.
Lost Ark. That's part of about that.
Yeah, I'm with Hyper on that one about it being very difficult to choose one specific theme or one specific, track. If we're going for like Sonic themes as like, themes
for the character himself?
Themes for the character himself, or themes for the entire game. I personally, Sonic Heroes can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had, like, I don't think there's a bad song Heroes, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really love What I'm Made Of. That's my
That's a good
favorite.
one.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Let's see. Okay, so now we want to the fan questions. Okay, so this one comes from Brandon69. Would you guys ever make a Let's Play channel sometime?
Not myself, no.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do
might
it unless.
I might do similar content for my own channel, but it wouldn't be like in character stuff. The one time I broke that quote unquote rule of mine was when I recorded Virtuous Sonic, and honestly that was just something fun I wanted to do, promote the game, and I thought it'd be cute because I voiced Sonic in that game. It'd be like, oh, Sonic's playing the game in virtual reality. He's playing the Sonic virtual reality game about himself.
I'm sorry, I love how that just like trailed off.
Yeah.
Like your batteries just died for a second.
Yeah. I don't want to lean into, because there's already plenty of channels that do that sort of Sonic characters play games together sort of thing. They already have their stuff like blocking. They've already been doing what they've been doing for a while, and it's not really a market that I feel inclined to explore, because I don't feel like I bring anything new to the table necessarily. And I also think I also worry that it would border a little too much on what is it, parasocial territory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because people already like get a little weird and associate like some of the characters we voice just with us. I'm not gonna name names, but there's another project I'm on where somebody like tries to like talk to me, and like they call me by the name of the character that I play in that project. It's not like a person on the project or just a fan, but it's like, please don't do that. And I feel like that sort of thing would just accelerate or get even more extreme if we were to delve into that Let's Play territory. Again, I just don't want it to get into parasocial territory. I like there to be a reasonable separation between who I am and the characters that I play.
Got it. Okay, this one comes from Wind General. What are the top 10 Sonic villains that could beat Mario?
Oh, God.
Oh, that's a big one.
I'm a little out of my league here.
I think, that's tough. I mean, I know Eggman could probably do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But I don't know. Bowser has been pretty big scale lately in terms of his plans. Although they all lead to the same end point, and I think that's why Mario is so like, it's so easy to stop Bowser, is because he just keeps doing the same crap, just with more elaborate plans to get to point B. That obviously, when everything's like in place for him to, finally just grab what he thinks is going to be once and for all, Mario shows up. I don't think Bowser's really thought about a different plan than that for the most part. Meanwhile, with someone like Eggman, yeah, he has the end goal of world domination, but he never attains it. Bowser at least grabs Peach, even if temporarily. The only time Eggman's fully dominated the world, as far as I remember, is Forces. And I think in an event like Forces happening to Mario's world, like Eggman doing that, yeah, Mario's kind of toast. He's gonna have to be a lot more resourceful.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I almost feel like that's a really, really good setup for like a crossover platform between Mario and Sonic. Just the worlds colliding, Eggman and Bowser taking over the world, and then Mario has to start, like, Mario and his friends need to start actually stepping up their game, because this villain that he's never really dealt with anything on this scale before has stepped up to the plate. So he's got to take some lessons from his buddy Sonic and all his friends. Honestly,
Well, I feel like
Neo Metal Sonic would have a good chance too. I feel like most Sonic villains could probably, like Chaos, it's probably over.
Well, I feel like I understand that logic. There's a part of me I'm not sure if I would sell Mario that short, because, as someone that's played a lot of the RPGs, I would argue that a lot of the not Bowser villains that he's faced are probably maybe not on the exact same tier, but kind of borderline on the same tier as like a lot of the deities that Sonic's fought throughout his franchise.
Yeah, you're right, because there's like Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi one. I completely forgot about those.
Like even the original Super Mario RPG, like the Smithy Gang, I feel like is like. So I don't think it's a matter of like Mario's unequipped to handle a threat like that. It's just a matter of like
it's unfamiliar territory, or it's less familiar territory.
Right.
He doesn't do it like every other game like Sonic does. And honestly, Sonic doesn't even just do it every other game. Like he will have multiple games in a row where he's fighting like wildly ambitious stuff. I mean, you had Sonic Adventure 2, and if we don't count 06, then there's Unleash. Well, actually, we will count 06 because it actually kind of fits in this context. You have SA1, SA2, and then 06, and then Unleashed. You have all those practically back-to-back in terms of mainline 3D Sonic games. And all of them have you facing some kind of giant monster by the end of it. And
well, I mean, technically Heroes does too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Because okay. But, like,
yeah.
it's almost like it ramps up in intensity. Mario has, like, pretty large like, the mainline games, pretty much just rescuing people. And I'm not even trying to critique the Mario story, because it's totally fine. I just think of this hypothetical, yeah, he would probably have to really sharpen his wit.
Mario
Which is why I think
versus
it's so right for a crossover, because you could just have Sonic and Mario play off of each other and learn things about their own approaches from one another.
Mario versus Metal Sonic and Mario versus... Yeah, get back to that.
I think Mario could probably beat base Metal Sonic, honestly. Because Metal Sonic doesn't really... He's not really much besides... Starline described it really aptly. A ballistic missile with a built-in grudge.
Right.
Pretty simple. Like, he's... In the context of Sonic himself, he's super formidable because it's Sonic literally facing himself.
Mm-hmm.
But, like... Then if you bring in Mario, who's got his own bag of tricks, I feel like it's... it becomes a... I think Mario could figure something out.
Yeah. Right. I will say, though, like, if we're gonna go into other villains, is it at least semi-unanimous that, like, Mario could probably beat Rough and Tumble with an arm behind his back?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Luigi could probably do it, dude.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Do you think Mario and Luigi could beat Searching Pit?
Although I will admit that...
a pretty formidable matchup, honestly.
I will admit that is something that I think would be kind of interesting, like in the context of like a Mario Sonic crossover. If you throw in Rough and Tumble, like if they try to like they get the idea of like, oh, Mario and Luigi have like bro moves like they do in like the Mario and Luigi games. What if Rough and Tumble are like reoccurring bosses that try to imitate the same kind of tactics that Mario and Luigi do and have like their own set of bro moves?
That'd be pretty funny.
Man, so I just realized Luigi uses electricity, thunder sometimes. That'd be a good thing to match up with Surge. But then again, Kid has water. He can easily maybe beat Kid with that, maybe. But lightning, water, don't miss.
Yeah. I think the bros would figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You don't really have to fight them with the elements, honestly. You just need to be more on the ball about preventing yourself from getting hit by their elements. And then if you find a vulnerable spot, you can do whatever your own thing is. You just gotta be crafty, resourceful with a lot of villains like that in the Sonic series, and Sonic pretty much always is. So that's why he's pretty good at it.
Actually, that brings it to the third question for the final one. This one actually relates to the Mario thing. From Fan of Games 2034, do you wish Nintendo allowed Ian to write Mario comics?
Yes. Oh my god.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know he came close with Archie, but that ended up not going anywhere. But it would be nice to see him like try that with IDW again, assuming Nintendo would be okay with it.
What I'd like to see, because the movie looks like it's going in a similar direction to how Ian was going to portray the Mario storyline and characters in the comics, which is interesting. I think it would be cool to have like a tie-in comic series that continues the events of the movie and kind of runs secondary. Because I don't think the movie is going to be canon to the games, unless it is, which would be weird and interesting. But if it's not canon to the games, you might as well just make that a comic. And I'd love to see Ian Flynn return to Mario for that in particular, because it already feels like that setup was similar to what he was going for. And I think we could have a lot of fun continuing that.
Right. There is one thing though. I remember Ian said that it would be very hard to bring in maybe DK or Yoshi for some reason, but they said like a much restriction for that. I think he said it would be very sad if we couldn't be able to do that.
Wait, why would he need permission for Yoshi?
I think he said for some other totally non-Mario characters, but they have their own series, I believe.
That
Well, it's so weird because it's like it's not like it's impossible to use like Yoshi within the confines of a Mario story. They've done it several times.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
And like, same with Donkey Kong, which is definitely wholesale a different
Yeah.
series. Mario is just one big spin-off of Donkey Kong.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Okay, so here is the final thing that is actually related back to IDW. Okay, from Wings of Line, it's $sign. What's that? Okay, if Starline were ever to return, do you think we'll have amnesia like Eggman had, or be a crazed half cyborg?
I feel like there's a lot of routes you could go with Starline. It would be interesting to see him having built himself back up and basically just become this horrific half cyborg thing.
Just use the concept design that he
Yeah,
had.
there you go.
Sub design?
Yeah, there's some early concept designs. where
Yeah,
they
let me see if I
way
can
more,
find it.
looked a little more pop. Something like that would be interesting.
Yeah, many people
Some kinda
saying
like,
that.
Anakin Skywalker type case, except he built himself back up somehow.
So, like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I definitely see that. Like, him pulling himself from the rubble, but very injured and deciding to do it. Oh, wow, that is perfect. Wow.
I think
Wow,
his
that-
transformation would definitely have to happen off screen
Oh, yeah.
For sure, yeah.
because I don't know how you would show that.
No idea, but definitely off screen. Maybe like flash images in the comic where it shows him doing something to himself and then turning himself into that. Though I don't know what he would be called then. Robo Starline, Psycho Starline. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can definitely see I can see the implants and stuff messing with his mind more and more as things go on. I don't know. Thing is, I don't really know where you would take Starline because you don't just want him to fall into the exact same pitfalls that Eggman falls into, because then you just have another Eggman.
Right, which kind of goes against the whole point of what he was trying to be as a character.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that ultimately his demise was caused by him trying to not be Eggman, and then he just gets Eggman wiped forward.
Yeah, a lot of people say like no reason to bring him back, keep him gone forever, and that way it feels if you bring him back, we're repeating the same story all over again, and bringing back the trauma for such a kid if they show up in that storyline too. So
Yeah,
I get
I
it.
don't really know what you would do to bring back Starline proper. I know there's probably plenty of ways you could do it, and I think a cyborg type thing would probably make the most sense. But I don't really know if there's. I don't know how I would implement a graceful way to bring him back without just retreading old ground. Or yeah, I don't know. I think the Dynamo Cage hallucinations were a great way to give us another little taste of him again.
Yeah,
And it makes sense too, like in the context of the comic. Starline isn't just back wholesale. Surge is just hallucinating her idea.
right. But I know aside from the cyborg thing, a lot of people said that maybe he'll be alive, but he'll have amnesia and act just like how Eggman did, have a different name. And yeah, I don't know. That one seems tame, but then again, I don't know.
I can see it working if it's maybe done in like if it's done really, really well, I could see it kind of working. But otherwise, I feel like you just run into a similar problem of like treading old ground.
Right. Totally get it. Okay. Okay. Well, that looks like it's all the questions that I have for you guys. Okay. Is there anything else you want to say to the fans of your channel? Like any more tidbits or anything else you want to say before we head off?
Get excited for this year. We have a lot of fun stuff planned, and we can't wait to show you all of it. That's why things have been spread a little thin lately, because we've been trying to stay on the ball about all this other content that we're working on. Our crew has expanded, but we're still taking on projects that are a little more ambitious than a crew of our size would typically be able to take on, especially since we only have like pretty much 2 new musicians. So things are tough, but we're getting by, and we really can't wait to show you the future of our content.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so. All right, well, thank you all of you guys for showing up for this interview. I had a great time interviewing you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. You guys are great.
Thank you for having us.
No problem
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, of course. Keep up with the great work. Can't wait to watch the next part. I know it'll be a while, but the wait will be worth it. It's always worth it.
Thank you.
Thank
Of
Thank
course.
you.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.